Absolutely not. No. Perfect way to ruin a great book. No. Your
No.
face says it all.
No. What the hell?
I don't think I would read this mashup weird version. No.
What?
No.
I don't even know what to say.
Baffled.
I'm baffled.
Just
It's nonsense.
It's utter nonsense, but it's fun nonsense. Hi friends, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Today I have my husband Jake with me, and we thought it would be really fun to replicate one of the early videos we did on his channel. And this is something that probably we had the most fun creating out of all the things that we've done. And it is, I forget what the name of the tag is, but it was originally created by Books with Emily Fox. But anyway, how it works is we each have a mug with some slips of paper in, and they're all gonna be jumbled up.
Some ASMR in there.
Sure. And so he's got a list of authors, I've got a list of the books they wrote, but we're going to pull out a slip from each, and it's going to be what if this author wrote this book, and our gut reaction thoughts to that.
Yes, and a lot of these are, or actually all of these are authors and books that we've both read.
Yes.
And some of them we both like, and some of them we disagree on.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what matchups we get, and if we agree on whether we like the matchup or whether we totally disagree.
Yeah, or if we agree that it's bad.
Yes. So without further ado, let's hop into it.
So our first pick, we can jumble them up here.
Yeah, so we know there's no cheating.
But the first pick is, what if Robert Jackson Bennett wrote
Empire of Silence, which is originally the first Sun Eater book by Christopher Rucchio.
How do you feel about this?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, so I think one of the most interesting things about a Sun Eater that I think could be a little bit better is some of the character dynamics and the character relationships. And I think Robert Jackson Bennett does that extremely well. So I'd be curious to see what he would do if he had the Sun Eater characters to work with.
I agree with you, because really my main love of Sun Eater is the main character, whereas the other characters, the side characters, and even some of the more major characters, I'm like, I could take him or leave him. But if Robert Jackson Bennett was writing those characters, I'd probably like him more.
Right. The main thing I don't know how it would go is like when you get to later books in the series and you have more like plot stuff that comes into Sun Eater. I don't know how Robert Jackson Bennett would handle those. I think he would do well with the first book though.
It'd be an interesting read.
Yes, definitely. I would read it.
And number 2, we have one of my favorite authors, Stephen King.
Writing Foundry Side.
Well, that's coincidence.
Yeah.
Foundry Side, written, of course, by Robert Jackson Bennett.
I wouldn't read this.
This is weird. Like, Stephen King has written fantasy with Dark Tower, but he doesn't write fantasy or really anything with, like, super specific magic systems or, like, rules about anything. So this just seems way off.
Also, I feel like the pacing would be way slower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He would drag it out.
Yeah. It wouldn't be my cup of tea.
Okay.
Would you read it at least?
I'll read anything Stephen King writes.
Okay.
But
and you just
I
wouldn't
don't
expect to love it.
I would not expect to love it.
Okay.
And number 3, we have Nicholas Eames. What if Nicholas Eames wrote
Kafka on the Shore, originally by Haruki Murakami.
This is weird.
It is very weird, but I would probably read it.
You would read because you did not like Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami.
But I think Nicholas Eames could do something really fun with the talking to animals stuff that's in Kafka.
Yeah, Nicholas Eames, author of Kings of the Wild, one of my favorite fantasy books, and that is a very funny fantasy book.
Yeah.
So he could bring a lot of humor to the situation that's in Kafka on the Shore.
Yeah.
Like you said, with the talking animals. So it could make sense.
Yeah, I feel like he would have to put it in a different culture, though, maybe, for it to make sense.
Yeah, because Haruki Murakami's Japanese.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Nicholas Eames would be comfortable with that.
Right.
But,
It would be funny to see what he would do with the Canadian spin.
oh boy. Just like have a bunch of talking moose.
Oh, no. It would be a whole different story, but I would be curious to see what he would do with it.
And number 4 option, we have Bradley P. Bulio. What if he wrote?
Outlander.
Oh boy.
No.
So if you just already know. So if you don't know, Bradley P. Bulio, one of my favorite fantasy authors, author of the Song of the Shattered Sand series, 12 Kings and Sherikai, and Outlander.
By Diana Gabaldon.
One of your favorite series.
Yeah.
But very, very different.
Very different, for sure. I think he would do interesting things with some of the subplots in Outlander, but I just don't feel like Jamie and Claire would be the same characters if Bradley P. Bulio wrote them.
No, they would be more, I don't know, edgy.
Yeah, angry. More angry and more edgy.
Yeah, like Jamie, like what, or not Jamie, Claire, like when she gets like transported back in time, she's gonna be like, what the hell? And just start
Who did this to me? I need revenge.
beating the crap out of people. Like first time she sees Jamie.
Yeah, it would be funny. It wouldn't be the same story for me. I feel like I would read it at least just out of pure curiosity.
I think maybe it would be more succinct because Bradley P. Bulio, his series is 6 books, and those books actually kept getting shorter as he went, but not Diana Gabaldon. We've already lost count, so we're just not going to keep count. So the next one, what if Michael Crichton wrote
Project Hail Mary.
This could work.
This is in his wheelhouse for sure.
Michael Crichton definitely knows how to write good sci-fi thrillers. So, but I will say, I mean, I don't know if you're not a big like character reader, but Michael Crichton isn't really the best with character work. He would make it way more technical.
Yeah.
So, which probably you wouldn't love as much.
I think it depends how he goes about it, maybe. If he does it all in, like, chunks, it would probably not be that great. But if he did, like, little snippets of technical stuff throughout, I'd be okay with it.
Well, he's known for, like...
tangents.
Oh, yeah. Like, he'll have, like, 5 pages in a row. Like, oh, here's how this thing works, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He would cut out all of, like, the backstory and, like, deep character moments and just have, like, a lot of scientific jargon.
I also feel like he wouldn't have the main character alone. He'd have a team of scientists.
It would be a team of scientists, yeah. Which would kind of ruin it would ruin the vibe.
Yeah, it would be a very different vibe, but I would still read what he came up with.
It would be the same thing, you know, like if it was like The Martian. It'd be like a team stuck on Mars and like, oh, we have a botanist, but we also have a geologist and we have a seismologist all together trying to get back to Earth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it would be interesting, but it would be very different and probably not as good as the Andy Weir version.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd read it, though.
So our next pick, what if Blake Crouch wrote...
Kings of the Wild. Oh, boy.
I don't like that.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, all Blake Crouch really writes anymore are, you know, sci-fi thrillers. So this just makes no sense to me off the bat.
I feel like he would take something... What is the disease called in Kings of the Wild?
The rot?
The rot. I feel like he would do something interesting with the rot.
Yeah, but, like, the whole thing is, like, a gang of these fantasy crew, like, going on a quest.
Yeah.
Like, this just doesn't mesh well with Blake Crouch's storytelling.
Yeah, that's valid.
I wouldn't read it.
I would be curious enough to read it, I think, but it would be a very different story.
Well, imagine, you know, like you've read Blake Crouch and then all of a sudden he came out, here's my fantasy book. And people would be like, what? What are you doing?
I'd still read it.
I'd pass. The next one is, what if Jordan Sonnenblick wrote...
12 Kings and Sherikai.
This is just a weird pick. If you don't know, Jordan Sonnenblick, author, one of my favorite books, middle grade book, Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie. He basically only writes middle grade and young adult books.
In contemporary.
And they're all contemporary.
Historical fiction.
Yeah, they're all kind of contemporary. So this also doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It would be funny to see what he would do with, like, Cheda's younger years.
That's what I was gonna say. He would probably age down a lot of the characters and make it more kid friendly.
Yeah.
You know, make not like it, but like a Narnia thing.
Oh, I don't see it going that direction.
Well, not the story, but like with characters that young and they're doing like it's still in like the world, but like he wouldn't make it as graphic.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he would just take the backstory elements of 12 Kings and Shere-Kai and just make that into a novel. And make it about Cheda's experience in her younger years.
Yeah, he could maybe do that. But would he involve Dangerous Pie?
Probably not.
Damn.
But he would do something funny in a fantasy world, maybe.
Maybe. All right, next one. We've got, what if Brando Sando wrote...
The Couple Next Door. Whoa, I'm losing a slip. Hang on.
That is... Brandon Sanderson writing a domestic thriller. Something's not right
About
here.
a kidnapped baby.
Yeah.
Oh no. How the heck would he make that fantasy?
This just doesn't work.
Yeah. I don't think it really works.
I got
that well.
nothing.
I mean, I think he could take maybe the premise of The Couple Next Door, where it's like a kidnapped baby, and put that in a fantasy world and just have like all of the villains and the problems and the motivations surrounding that be totally different.
But this is like if he wrote a domestic thriller.
No.
Just
No.
no, we're done.
Yeah.
And the next one we have is, what if Patrick Rothfuss wrote...
The Alloy of Law.
Okay, well, it's fantasy, but very different.
He would make it way more slow paced, and probably it would be less exciting for me. Because I think the biggest draw to Alloy of Law is just like the action.
Yeah.
And the magic system within that action. I don't really see Rothfuss as being good at either of those elements in Name of the Wind or Kingkiller.
Yeah, and what draws people to Rothfuss is like the prose and the world building, but none of that. Well, obviously Sanderson's good with world building, but the prose and stuff, like it just wouldn't mesh well with the kind of story Alloy of Law is.
Yeah, I do think, to be fair, he would probably take the lore of the Mistborn world with the different eras and do something really incredibly cool with that.
Yeah, it's also like Era 2 is just supposed to be kind of like fun books. Like it originally started as just an experiment for Sanderson that kind of branched off, but like Name of the Wind is definitely more like lyrical, and like there's a bunch of lore and mystique about everything that's happening. So I don't know, it just doesn't mesh well for me.
Yeah. Do you think you would read it or nah?
No.
Yeah, I don't know
pass.
if I would either.
It's a hard pass.
Oh boy.
Also, if he was writing Era 2, it wouldn't be finished now. We'd still be waiting for book 3 and 4 probably.
Oh no.
And our next pick is, what if Andy Weir wrote
Hyperbole and a Half, which is originally by Ali Broche. If you don't know, this is a humor nonfiction memoir sort of graphic novel that has a lot of like truth nuggets about real life.
How do you think this would go?
I don't.
You just don't.
I just don't.
You're done.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, what if he took like the idea, of like, you know what? I got nothing.
What if he did like truth nuggets about astronauts or something?
Yeah, like take Project Hail Mary, but like put it into hyperbole and a half.
No. That is not a humorous situation.
Or The Martian.
Also not a humorous situation.
Yeah, it could be, what's his name? Watley on... Yeah, it's like Watley just writing...
Isn't it Watney?
Whatever. The guy from The Martian just doing like random comic strips and stuff in like his situation on Mars. That'd be funny.
I mean, I'd be curious to read it, but it would be a very different book.
One of the things would be like, all the potatoes.
Yep, all the potatoes instead of all the things.
Yeah, there you go. See, it works.
No.
And the next pick, we'll go with this one. What if Christopher Rocchio wrote...
Dark Matter, originally by Blake Crouch. I'd read it.
They're both, well, Christopher Rocchio is like sci-fantasy, so like
Mm-hmm.
epic science fiction, whereas, was it Dark Matter?
Yeah.
That's more of a sci-fi thriller, but it's still in the same vein at least, so it's not impossible.
But yeah, I'd read it.
Why?
I'd be curious to see what he does with the scientific elements behind Dark Matter.
Okay.
I don't want to say more than that because
I feel like-
spoilers for Sun Eater.
Yeah, Sun Eater goes like really just out there sci-fi.
Yeah.
So maybe he would even go way more out there because Dark Matter is all about like parallel worlds. So he could like get really weird with it.
Yeah.
So it could work maybe.
I'd be curious. I don't know if I would love it, but I would be curious.
And the next pick is, what if Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote
The Name of the Wind.
Oh God.
Well, she'd make the romance less annoying,
Yeah.
but no.
Uh,
No.
Yeah, she has what I would assume is no fantasy writing up her sleeve.
I mean, the closest thing would be maybe in Another Life where she's got parallel timelines.
Yeah, but this also is just a weird pick.
Yeah. No. I don't see it working. I don't see her matching anything to do with the prose, the lore of the worlds, the character relationships. It would be way different.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just weird.
Yeah. Just a pass. No.
No, thank you. What if Susan Collins wrote
Sphere, which is by Michael Crichton.
I mean, I guess you could consider Hunger Games sci-fi, dystopian, but like, not a lot of people write like Michael Crichton.
Yeah, I feel like, to be fair, if she tried the story, she'd probably take the second half or the last third of Sphere and do some kind of like competition or like really tense stuff with that, which would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
But the whole lead up to it would be way off.
Maybe it could just be Hunger Games, but all underwater. I don't know.
No.
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 So, are we a pass on this? I'm a pass. I'm a pass.
I'd probably pass, yeah.
And our next pick, we have your favorite author, Haruki Murakami.
No. Writing Dolores Claiborne. Absolutely not. No. Perfect way to ruin a great book. No.
I would read it, but it wouldn't be nearly as good. He would make it very weird.
Well, you can read it all on your own.
It's like Dolores Claiborne, but like there's also a talking cat.
This might work better with a different King book, like Misery, where you can have the pig talk.
Oh God, just animals.
No, hard pass.
I mean, and also Haruki Murakami rarely ever writes in a female perspective, and the King is very good. Like Dolores is one of his best, if not best, female characters, and especially listening to the audiobook. I don't know. Haruki Murakami wouldn't really do it justice.
Just a no.
And the next pick we have is Diana Gabaldon. What if she wrote
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie. Interesting.
This might actually work better for another Sonnenblick book because that also involves time travel.
Yeah.
Are you experienced?
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but I know the premise.
Yeah, that one's about a kid being transported back into like the late 60s when his dad was about his age. So she could do something with that, but specifically Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie, probably not.
I think no. I mean, the main draw to her writing is how she makes history or like major historical events very personal to the characters.
Yeah.
And so I don't see that working at all within the premise of Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie because there's no like major historical events surrounding it.
Yeah, maybe she would do a better job, like I said, with Are You Experienced? But Not with Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie. That's already a perfect book.
I don't think I would read this mashup weird version.
No. She can just stick with Outlander.
Yeah.
And our next pick is what if Robert Jordan wrote
Carrie Soto is back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Your
no.
face says it all.
No. What the hell?
It'd be a way different story. It'd be like Old Man in a Pub recounting the story.
About a woman, like a woman world-renowned tennis player.
No.
What?
No.
I don't even know what to say.
Baffled.
I'm baffled.
Just no.
No,
I wouldn't read it.
no, thank you.
No.
And our next pick is, what if Andrea Stewart wrote,
The Eye of the World.
I think she could do it better. Hot take.
Ooh, that is a very hot take.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who DNF'd book 2 of Wheel of Time.
Okay, to be fair, I DNF'd Wheel of Time in book 4 because it was very slow in book 3 and 4 for where I got up to, and I just couldn't anymore. Also, I didn't love Robert Jordan's writing style, so I think there are certain aspects that if Andrea Stewart were to write it, I would probably enjoy it more. However, Wheel of Time is basically like special because of the crazy amount of like detail and world building that's in it. It's all the thought about how that all worked in different eras, and I don't think Andrea Stewart has shown us that she can put that level of world building into her fantasy yet, so I don't think this would work.
Well, the reason I didn't personally like Wheel of Time was because of all of the extra detail in all the chapters. And I think she'll just cut all that crap out and then focus on plot, and we'll be good to go.
Maybe. How do you think she would handle many characters in a moving situation? Like, we know she can do multi-POV, but have we seen like a group of characters doing different things or the same thing?
She'll get the hang of it.
Oh boy. I would hesitate on this one. I think it would be very different.
Good. I think she would make it better.
Oh boy.
All right. So there's only a few left. What if I can get it? What if Brent Weeks wrote
The Black Prism, which he already did, so I'm gonna pull another one. The Bone Shard Daughter. I'd read it.
I would give it a shot.
Oh, I would like it.
You would like it more, you think?
Yeah.
Well, for me, The Bone Shard Daughter was excellent. I gave it 5 stars.
I gave it like a 4.25, I think. But the thing with me with Bone Shard is I didn't like the sequels as much as the first book. And I mean, to be fair, I kind of had the same experience with Lightbringer too. However, Brent Weeks would put a lot more detail into the world building and the magic system, which I would appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, I would read it, but I don't think I would like it nearly as much.
What do you think he would do with Mephi?
Does he have any like animal companions in any of his series?
Not so much.
Yeah, I don't think he would do it justice. All right, there's only 2 left. We have, what if Cherie Lapina wrote
The Black Prism.
What do you think?
No.
Just no?
No.
I mean, yeah, probably not.
Do you have anything to elaborate on?
No, I mean, she writes domestic thrillers, and this is a very complex fantasy series, so no.
No. Black Prism also has a lot of kind of subtle humor or overt humor, and I don't really see Cherie Lapina as writing humorous stuff either.
That makes
So
sense.
this is just like different type of book, different level of detail, different pacing, different tone. Like, this is just not a good match.
No. I'm sure there might be other domestic thriller authors that could maybe do it.
Yeah, maybe.
But we don't have to think about that.
No.
Well, there's 1 left, so let's see what we got here. What if Allie Broche wrote
The Hunger Games.
What do you think, baby?
No.
No.
No. The Hunger Games is as good as it is because it's tense, because you feel Katniss's emotion and get her reactions. I feel like Allie, instead of reacting with like more of a fiery personality, she would be more prone to make Katniss like sad or just quiet.
Also, it would be weird to make Hunger Games funny.
Yeah. Just no.
Like Katniss would get in the group and be like, "Okay, guys, like this is what we got to do," and then like an arrow flows past her. She's like, "Run away!" or something stupid like that.
Yeah, probably.
Katniss would make Katniss like quirky,
Maybe.
which doesn't really fit.
Quirky and quiet
Yeah,
and sad.
yeah, something like that. That doesn't fit very well.
No. I will keep Hunger Games as like the tense, anger-inducing action story that it is. So that was all the matchups. Which one was your favorite, babe?
I think the one that made the most sense was Michael Crichton writing Project Hail Mary. It would be different, but he would still do a good job with it.
I think my favorite was Robert Jackson Bennett writing Empire of Silence.
That's also a good one.
So what was your least favorite matchup?
Oh, well, I have a few. A lot of them are just like either just authors that really write in one genre going like way out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like Brandon Sanderson writing The Couple Next Door just doesn't make any sense. Also, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'll read anything she writes, but if she writes The Name of the Wind, I'm not going to read it. And then also another one, probably the most egregious one really for me, Robert Jordan writing Carrie Soto is Back is just, ugh.
Oh, no. No.
What about you?
Mine should be obvious to anyone who watched the video. Taking one of my favorite books and one of my least favorite authors. No Murakami writing Dolores. Absolutely not.
I would read it.
Well, you have fun with that.
But it wouldn't be as good, probably.
It wouldn't be anywhere near as good. So let us know down below in the comments which matchup gave you the strongest reaction. Which one were you excited about? Which one were you just like, absolutely not? And if we ever do this again, which authors and books would you like us to include if you have ideas about that?
I definitely want to do it again, and I have some ideas of authors we could include next time.
Yeah, Jake's already angling for the next round. To be fair, I think it is one of the most fun videos we've ever done.
Yes.
Even if it's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It's utter nonsense, but it's fun nonsense.
It's fun.
Yeah.
A rat.
Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.